my screen. The application which we are using for online recording, online sessions and everything is GoToTraining. GoToTraining used to be one of the Citrix application. After that, they have taken by LogMeIn, one of the world's reputed company. In fact, we are not using any trainer version or anything. This is a premium version which we purchased. So don't worry about the application. Application is well established in the market. So 99.9% of the time we'll be having the uptime and the clarity of the sound, and generally the screen sharing resolution and everything is 99.9% of the cases very clear. That has already been proved. Let me also tell you Excelism online live classes. This is the 9th batch which we are conducting. Earlier in 2017 and 18, we conducted 8 batches successfully. Friends, let me show you the syllabus because it is very important for us to know what we would be speaking for next couple of days and where your concentration is more required, and how our classes are scheduled. Let me tell you very clearly, uh, especially the entire course structure which I made, considering everyone in mind. I'm sure out of you, some people maybe at the intermediary level, some people already, in fact, I should appreciate a couple of members, they already taken session under me, but still they want to have entire course again, wherever probably this time I'm going to talk a couple of new things, so they don't want to miss it. Every day of my session is important. If you miss even one day session, you may not follow the other sessions, because I don't believe that there is a concept of advanced Excel directly. There is a concept which I believe that which prevail is in-depth basics. If you learn the in-depth basics, not for Excel application, for any application, I'm sure understanding the advanced topics would be very simple. So keeping that in my mind, I started covering, I probably will be covering from tomorrow, in-depth basics, start from understanding the Excel. Let me cover one after other the schedule so that you can understand how we'll go ahead from tomorrow. Tomorrow's session would be more on understanding the architecture of a spreadsheet and Excel user interface, different types of values, and the characteristics of Excel, and entering values into Excel. So tomorrow's session is more of how your Excel looks like and how different versions of Excel are there, why you should use always the latest version compared to the earlier version. Because I feel that concept is very important, that unless you know the advantage of the latest version, you may not understand the real power of Excel. So, because I've seen many a times chartered accountants, maybe the companies, even startups especially, thinking spending money on Excel tools is like a cost. But I don't agree with that point, because spending money with Excel tools is always an investment. We'll get a ROI very fast in Excel application, because when you start using the latest application, you will understand the power and many features which can save our time and which can improve our quality. If obviously it saves the time of our staff, that is at par equal to the improving the quality. That is, always directly proportional. So that is the reason always start looking into the latest version. That topic either today or tomorrow I would be covering, and we will be understanding characteristics of Excel. Why this topic is more important? Because small minute things are also very important in Excel, because once you start observing, we will understand the characteristic. For example, if I enter a number, how it looks like. If I enter a text, how it looks like. If I enter a Boolean value, how it looks like. These all small minute things are important. So I'll be covering that session tomorrow with different examples. Friends, the next 40 hours would be very elaborative. Okay, if you have any question anytime, you have an option to raise your hand, because As I already told you, I keep everyone in mute, because if I start making everyone unmute, there will be a lot of echoing and a lot of disturbance, so that disturbs the entire session. Whenever you would like to speak on any of the thing, then you can raise your hand. There is an option to raise a hand, so that I can unmute you and you can start speaking. And there is an alternative way you can ask the question. You can put the message in the chat box, so that that arrives me. In fact, everyone can see that message, and you can start asking the question. So that is what about questioning me. And second section, because in Excel, three things we can do maximum. We can enter the values. I'll be covering mostly tomorrow. And we can write the formulas, and we can apply the formatting. So second thing is very important. We need to understand the formula. Formula is different in Excel. Features are different. In fact, if you observe my session number 5, session number 6, and session number 7, these section number 5, section number 6, and section number 7, these all three sections are talking about the features. I'll cover the difference between formulas and features elaborately in the following sessions. So let us first try to understand what are the formulas we would be covering. Again, if you want to write a formula, the formula must be more, you must understand each and every minute thing into the formula. So we'll try to understand the formulas. I'll give you some content from tomorrow, every day, couple of Excel files before the session, during the session, maybe post session, right? So you will be getting the rules of the formulas and how to understand the syntax. Because many a times, though when we start writing the formula, we are getting a syntax, but we don't look into the syntax. Just to confirm yourself, you can ask the question, what is the syntax of some function? I'm sure some function we might have written thousands of times till now. If I suddenly ask you a question, how some function looks like, I doubt even 10% of the crowd can answer, because we are not keen to the syntax. But Excel is trying to help us at every point of time by showing a syntax, by giving us a screen tip, maybe by uh, giving us the pop-up with the information and a lot of things. But we don't consider it while we work with Excel. I extremely feel that it is most important to read every pop-up what Excel shows us, to understand every syntax what Excel display, or to read every screen tip whenever we are trying to hover any of the command in the user interface. So you can understand the syntax from my session, and you will get to know how many different types of categories of functions. Excel is such a wide range of variety of functions we have, but all functions may not be useful for the chartered accountants or maybe for the finance domain like us, because there are functions which are very much important for the engineers, and there are functions which are most important for the statisticians, and there are uh, trigonometry functions. Because as a finance domain, in a finance domain, I don't use the trigonometry functions. Maybe some other people who are into that particular functional side, they use the trigonometry function. So I would not be covering those category of the functions which are for specific people. In fact, even if you want to learn also, we should understand the concepts first. Okay, so I'd be covering almost 120 plus functions in our session, at least out of 400 bunch of functions. In fact, some of the functions are very simple. It will not take much time to understand. Some functions will take a lot of time to understand, because lot of inherent characteristics, limitations, rules, logic we should understand. So we can understand the arguments, we can understand the cell references. In fact, the cell references and defined names, I can move it into the section 1, because after understanding the values, I'll start talking about the cell references. Then these all are at least the functions. You can make this number 100 plus. I just kept it as a 70 plus just for the safe side, but 100 plus functions we would be covering. So many mathematical functions, though many people are using some functions, subtotal and so on. I doubt at least 10% of the crowd used aggregate function, one of the very powerful function. And there are powerful functions like text functions, logical functions. Out of all the functions which I have written here, if you observe these functions, okay, maybe fourth one, this includes the reference functions. This is very important. I consider these functions are nothing but the advanced functions. In fact, I have not pronounced a couple of functions here. Offset function, I have not covered a couple of functions named row function, indirect function is already here. These all are very powerful functions. Financial functions I would be covering very elaborate because most of the crowd are financial domain. Statistical functions, whatever important for our session, we would be covering. Date and time functions. These all are the functions I would be covering in next couple of hours. Now let's look into the advanced formula. Is there a concept of, first of all, names advanced formula is the question? Yes, there is. Advanced formula is something where we need to put a lot of our mind understanding much in depth. As I told you, understanding in depth is nothing but the advanced. So we would be understanding how to write the array formulas, because array is array is very powerful, such that you can do n number of calculations inside one simple and single formula that I will be covering. And you would be re-engineering the formula. Let's say I got one file from one of my client where he has written very lengthier formula. In that, for me just to understand itself, to digest itself, will take a lot of time. How to re-engineer the formula? So where to start, where to end, how Excel understands the formula, how Excel solving the entire formula at once, or is Excel solving piece by piece? If Excel is solving piece by piece, is it from left to right or right to left? There are many things which we should be very keen of, and I would be covering when I start solving re-engineering of the formula. The next thing, if you ask me, the 17th one is most important, because uh, just give me one sec. Let me start drawing so that you can understand. Okay, so formula auditing, because we all are chartered accountants here. If because whenever we get any of the files, whoever in the industry also, how to do the audit? By just looking into a glance, or maybe by using a couple of small commands. How do I understand that this Excel file is having a connections, maybe from different Excels? Okay, and how those files got saved, and maybe if one formula I am finding, what are the precedents to this formula? That means how many references I kept in this formula? Is it within the workbook or is it outside the workbook? Lot of things we would be covering. Very important topic. So watch window is another small concept you need to understand. So let me explain you the feature side. In fact, this is the one where we do the inferences, we get insights from Excel, and we can transform the data. You can call anything. Here it is. Here it fits. So text to column, very important when we get any of the text files, or CSV files, or any of the files, maybe in HTML format. We would be converting. We will get to know how to convert the text to column, how to convert the entire one column of data into different columns. This also I'll be giving very elaborate, taking the bank audit example. And sorting includes custom sorting. See, if you observe, sorting, filtering, consolidation, these all basically we know, because very small. Okay, so sorting we all know in our day-to-day work, filtering and consolidation. I have not written here, but subtotal also I'll be covering. But this is, I'm not more interested in just understanding the sorting, understanding the filtering, understanding the consolidation. How to make it more dynamic, the sorting? That means, do you know we can even sort based on the row wise as well as column wise? So these all concepts will be covered. Do you know we can sorting based on my own order instead of Excel is giving? That means generally when text is there, it is A to Z, the sorting is. If it is numbers are there, largest to smallest or smallest to largest. If it is dates are there, oldest to newest, newest to oldest. Instead of these orders, I can keep my own order. That we call it as a custom sorting. Advanced filtering. I doubt whether at least 10% of the crowd knows about this feature. You can extract the filtering is basically based on a criteria. I will filter the data. That means only that data will be displayed. If I want to extract the data, I'll be copying the data and I'll be pasting into some other place in Excel. Advanced filter is such a great topic where without even touching my original data, by just using small formulas, I can extract the data from the original data out. That is what the concept of advanced filtering. And consolidation is another very important, beautiful concept. This concept actually what I'm planning is I'll keep for 2 to 3 days so that we will understand how many different types of consolidation we can do. There are so many concepts in that because we deal with huge data. How to get entire data at one place or how to consolidate the data by using some function. Again, data, when I talk about the data, there is one more day I talk about how different types of data we have. And if you want to do the data analytics, how crisp dm frameworks help us in accounting standards are there, in auditing standards are there, in data analytics standards are there. Those we call it as a crisp dm framework, cross industry standards in data mining framework. That is what the meaning of crisp dm. uh, we'll be covering through which how data is there, how to understand the data, how to prepare the data, meaning of the data dictionary, and so on. So that is what the consolidation will try to understand in forthcoming sessions. We'll be understanding the subtotals and we'll be understanding very in depth the pivot table. I'll be touching upon a topic named Power Pivot because last time when I started talking 2 years back, Power Pivot had to settle. So I did not spoken much about Power Pivot, but this time I would be covering the Power Pivot, at least 20% of Power Pivot. And I'll be touching upon Power Query along with this because Power Query is a ETL tool. That means it can extract the data, it can transform the data, it can load into your Excel. Friends, 40 hours is a tentative. I'm sure that will be at least 1 or 2 hours will go up because I'm planning to add a couple of sessions. See, enrollments, payments, these all are just before the session. After the session, I will speak with a lot of passion, and I'm expecting the same thing from the participants also. Don't consider the other things. At least give me your 40 hours to 45 hours. I'm sure I'll make you awesome in Excel. I'm sure next 15 days, whatever the learning you'll be having, that can change your entire way, how you are solving the things, how you are solving the problems at your office, and so on. So I'm coming with the passion. I request everyone participate in the session with passion. This is just another 15 days. Just give me your 45 hours to me. As I promised, I'll make you awesome in Excel. So I'll start talking on Power Query. uh, Charts will looking into the visualization. In fact, there are beautiful charts which introduced in 2016 version, and every time when Office 365 updated, at least one or other chart is part of it. So I would be covering the charts very elaborate again. Data validation, including the custom data validation, and this time I would be covering. I would like to cover basically uh, macros, along with the macros, little VBA. Okay, I'm not promising you that with my course you can write the programs and you can become the master developing your own add-ins, because this is not a VBA macro session. In fact, my next course would be on VBA and macro. Very soon I'll be announcing that. But in this course of advanced Excel, I will touch upon little VBA, maybe we'll take 1 or 2 days time. We will try to understand normally how to write the code and what are the basic things which we need to consider while writing the code and so on. Basically, with my section 6, okay, I may not make you expert in developing your own applications through VBA, but I can remove all the myths which are there in your mind that macros are very difficult to understand, VBA is very difficult to write, and a lot of things are there. So many myths are there in our mind. Whenever we start looking into some automated Excel file, we always think that to make this type of Excels, we need to be real experts, but not at all. You can start learning macros with a lot of ease. Again, for functions or formulas, how rules are there, architecture is there. For macros also, architecture is there. I feel like macros is a very simple concept, like your SOP, standard operating procedure at your office. If you know the word of SOP is basically a very detailed step-by-step process for whatever the process which I deal, I make it on the paper so that next time whenever there is a change, I can modify it as a version 2 and I can store it. Whoever the new employee who is joining and who is going to work on that particular task, I'll give this SOP. By just reading this SOP, he'll be in a position to perform 70% of the job. If you understand the concept of SOP in our corporates, in our chartered accountant offices, maybe wherever, you can understand the macros with that ease. Because if you want to start writing the program, you should understand the architecture very clearly than uh, what is the knowledge you are having, or than what is the approach which we are following for advanced Excel. The approach would be entirely different for VBA code. So, but at least I am promising you that I will spend little more time this time in our batch 9, and we will try to see how we can write a small code in VBA and how to record beautiful macros. Recording, I'll cover elaborate. Don't worry. I'm only talking about the VBA code because for which little programming skills also you need to have. Anyway, this is what about macros. Last but not the least, compatibility. Okay, different. Anyway, this topic, though I kept as a last topic, I'll be covering this topic between wherever it is possible. That means whenever uh, there is a change between the versions, a particular feature, I will talk there and then that this feature is not available in 2007, available in 10 or 16 or Office 365, and so on. So that is about the syllabus. Okay. In fact, very elaborate. Friends, though I'm not talking just about our Excelism, but the same thing, if you would like to look into any of the outside, they'll be cutting this into different pieces, basics, intermediary, advanced, and so on. I don't want to keep it because I don't want to directly talk for the people who would like to learn only advanced, because if we look into, because you can only understand the advanced if you learn the in-depth basics. That's the reason my course is starting from the basics every time. Even next batches, whenever I would like to start, I'll be starting from basics till advanced, because though you know the basics, probably these basics make you understand more, better, effective. Okay, this is about the syllabus. And let me tell you a couple of small things about uh, quiz or exam. I am planning to conduct 2 tests. After 10 days, one test, maybe after the course, another test. The test will be having 30 questions. Okay. Don't feel like you are a student, but the test is more important because there must be an improvement day to day, day by day, right? So after 10 days, if I conduct the exam, the test, so that at least I would be knowing where we are. Based on that, my further sessions will be, uh, I can change the mode how I'm talking and so on. And there will be one more exam on the last date. Okay, maybe after the last session, we'll take 2 to 3 days to practice more. and you will be having one more test. That will be our final test. Probably you'll be having 30 to 50 questions, and you will get to know, first of all, where you are. My only target is we would be reconciling our knowledge on the last day minus the knowledge you are having today. I'm sure that will be positive, because there must be a meaning for the amount what you paid. 5,000 for me is not a small amount, because you all trusted me and you paid to excellism. So I'm sure that positive thing you will be finding on the last day. Okay, don't worry about it. So that is what about the test part. And friends, every day, uh, during the session, I'll be sharing you some content, and everything I would be writing very in depth. And some of the assignments where some of the files are very much required to you, I'd be writing like this: it is day 0, today is day 0, and tomorrow is day 1. Everything relates to today's material, either into one file or maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So many files. There are many ways I can share it. I can share live, or probably this is a Dropbox. I can share you the Dropbox links who are more comfortable, and so on. Don't worry about it. And friends, as I said, our sessions will not be recorded every day, but for one of two participants, whenever, maybe all the participants, whenever you missed any particular day session, request me so that I can enable the link, so that you can watch the session uh, for that day, maybe next day maximum, and will disable the link, because the intention of my sessions is not watching online, for which there are so many YouTube channels. You need not to come to me to learn Excel. If you listen live, if you watch the screen live, then you will get to know the real understanding. Okay, so that is what only the intention. In fact, we don't record the sessions. Maybe with the request of one or two members, I'm recording, because they already taken the permission from me that they would not be available for a couple of days. So those days this link will be shared. But however, the same privilege I'm trying to give it to everyone. Whoever going to miss one or two sessions throughout the course, maximum 3 4, okay, on that day please request me so that I can send you the link of the entire class. You can watch it at your free time. And let me tell you one more disclaimer. I sincerely and honestly requesting you all to practice every day. Okay, not just skipping one day, because on the screen, whenever I start writing the formulas, or whenever I start showing something, or maybe doing with some analysis, you may be feeling very simple. But when you go and start practicing, you will get a lot of questions. Let me take this practical example. One experiment which I did for one of my students in ICI. All the time you ask me, Sharon, how to use the shortcuts very fast. What is the best book? What is the best material? What is the best module? And so on. I always tell them, you first go and start practicing the shortcuts, then reading. This I can connect with your with my live example. Uh, I even teach for CA students, CA final students at ICI. Generally, they use the mouse. We have the mouse and monitors and everything. Whenever I start practicing them, then start using the mouse. I told to the lab assistants one day that please remove all the mouse by the time they reach the class. And he removed all the mouses, and they started searching for the mouse once they arrived their systems. I said mouses will not be available. So then they struggled a lot on the day to use the shortcuts. But I helped them every point how to use the shortcut. What is the meaning of underline? What is the alt sequential keys? What is the meaning of control combinations? Lot of things. But they struggled a lot on the first day using the shortcuts. Second day, they started understanding, and they were little comfort with compared to the first day. Third day, they were fast, and they are not even looking for the mouse, and they are going little faster with the shortcuts. You can understand the fourth day they are working like pro guys, okay, who are playing with Excel with the shortcuts. I can find them on fourth day. On fifth day, I asked my people to keep the mouses back. But you surprise, from fifth date, they did not even touch the mouse. Maybe 20 yeah, maybe 10% of the crowd might have used mouses, but 90% of the crowd did not even touch. What we must understand out of this, especially the application, it's not about how much we read. It's not about how much we digest. It is about how much we practice, how much we experience our own. So that's the reason I honestly request all of you, practice every day. It will not be more than 1 hour and 1.5 hour after my session. You need to concentrate. And also, let me tell you, throughout the session, I would be using Office 365. If you can find it from here, okay, that means I'm using the latest version. Okay, I know many of you may be using 2007, 2010, or 2013, or 2016, or Office 365. If you are using Office 365, that is wonderful, there is no doubt. If you are using at least 2007, that is fine. And though, however, I'll tell you, wherever there are changes, wherever there are features which are not available in the previous version, which are available in the latest version, I'll tell you there and then itself. But preferably, if you have Office 365, you please buy it. Let us look into the power. Again, this is a myth. Let me start searching Office 365 online. Uh, you will get to know the cost. The cost is as low as 600 to 700 rupees per application. That means that per application means you can take for business. It will not even costing you 125 rupees per system, because if you take one license, yeah, let me put this into Indian rupees. I don't know where it is. Yeah, leave it. Okay, see, if you see, it is uh, not even $8, $9. $9 means it is 9 into 7. Okay, almost 600 plus. uh, these all are the applications you would be finding. And let me show you, this can be used for 5 applications. Okay, not just for one application. Okay, check it out. Maybe you can find, yeah, this you can use for 5. If you observe here, each user can install the Office apps on up to 5 PCs. If you have a staff of 4 people and you 5 total, then you can take one application which not even costing you 600 rupees per month. That means per one person it is just 125 rupees. Friends, I am not promoting Microsoft Office or anything. I'll get nothing out of what you buy, but just because there is a lot of power in the Office applications. So because this is a myth, generally people think that if you go for licensed version, it is very costly. No, for one system, 125 rupees. 125 rupees is equal to less than one movie ticket per month. Okay, but the advantage of using this is so many features like flash fill, power query, okay, and so on, many features which are not there in the older versions what you are using. So if it is Office, let me show you the difference between Office 365 and Excel 2019. The market is having Excel 2019 is the latest version, and on the other side, Office 365. Since Office 365 is like prepaid, okay, subscription basis, monthly or yearly payment we are doing, this updates are up to date. Updates are real time rather. But Excel 2019 already market announced this is perpetual license. That means for lifelong. This is one time payment. Okay, this is monthly or annual payment. But what is the disadvantage of going Excel 2019? Updates are not real time. Okay, so that's the reason, if you ask me, this is most preferable. Because monthly we are paying. If you think that next 2 months your office is not going to work, you need not to renew. That's fine. If you think again you need for 1 month, you can renew it. Or else if you want some assignment where your latest version is more required, then you can pay only for that month. Then after the month you can deactivate. The Excel will not, Microsoft will not charge that. So this is about the difference between Office 365 and 2019. Friends, mine is very much latest than even Office 365. In Office 365, there is a concept of public and insider. Public is generally once they roll out to the world. That means for general public. Once Microsoft roll out for everyone, you can find everyone's computer. Insider is basically is a beta. The advantage of using insider is whenever they release a new feature, that will first come to the insiders. Insiders start working on that, using that features, giving them a lot of feedback, and based on that they'll change it. And it will take time to settle down any feature. Though Microsoft is a great company in the world, one of the well reputed company, because at the end of the day it is a software, it is application where someone has to suggest them or maybe give them the feedback. So insider is basically the version which is for a lot of people in the world, including me. Even you can apply it, you can get it. Whenever there is a change, immediately the change happens on the day itself. Once you update your Excel application, then you can see the new features, you can start working on that. Then you can start giving the feedbacks to them. Based on the feedbacks, they'll change it, they'll correct it, they'll rectify it, or maybe they'll just go ahead and they'll release for the entire public. So what I am using for the class, I can go to the file tab, I can go to account, you can find here. Mine is an insider. Okay, I got the license for the insider, and this is my own account, and here you can find it. This is the one. You can just search in the Google, maybe in the Microsoft website. You can see what's new. Generally what we do, whenever there is update, we will go here and we'll click update now. Generally it gives as a pop-up, but whenever we miss that and we want to update it again, and you can go and click it, and Excel, Microsoft look into that, and it is saying in my case, Mr. Sharan, you are up to date, the latest version of Office is installed on your computer. Okay, so this is the way it happens. As I said, I want at least 2007 version 2007 is preferable. Okay, this is about the versions. And let us look into the other small things. Since today is the first day, probably I would be closing today's session by 7:45, 8 maximum. Let me note down all the versions which we are having, so that you will get to know the meaning of each and everything. So 2003, before 2003 we used to have 1997 and so on, so many versions. But why I'm giving 2003, because here it ends the world architecture. The new architecture, the new era for Excel started from 2007. Then after 2007 it is 2010. After 2010 it is 2013. After 2013 it is 2016. And after 2016 it is 2019. And as I said, Office 365 is up to date than anything else. Okay, friends, let me just stop for a minute here. I hope my speed is okay, or you want me to reduce the speed, or you're following, because I'm finding one or two people who are uh, leaving and coming back, maybe because of their internet and so on. Could you please confirm, is my speed okay? Is my voice having clarity? Okay, Satya, thanks for the confirmation. And Vinat, okay, great, Teja. Friends, could you please, I yet to find, because almost 11 people are there. If you can participate in the chat, that would be great, that at least you are listening. Sudhir, are you still you are there online? Okay. Maithili, are you online? Great. Venkatesh, I did not see your message. Venkatesh, are you online? Yeah, okay, great. Thanks for the confirmation. Good. Okay, friends, since it's the first day, so more of you can find a theory, but from tomorrow we will start directly going into Excel and start looking into that. Okay, so friends, you can find whenever you would like to speak with me, and there is a hand symbol. Okay, you can just raise your hand and you can start speaking. Okay, so fine. And even whoever would like to, for example, whenever I start writing something, you may be parallelly working. Whenever some of the feature you feel is not working out for you, okay, maybe it is working out for me, and that means you are writing something wrong, or maybe the formula is having little uh, other things. In those case, it is very simple. You can ask me so that I can give you the control of my entire Excel. Okay, you are sitting there and you can control my Excel, you can write in my Excel, so that you can also understand in 2019 how it is working out. uh, may I know how many of you are using 2007 version? 2007 version is basically how to identify. Very good. Okay, 2003 version, uh, to identify you are having drop down menu style on top. Uh, I doubt anyone are using 2003 version. There is no doubt. Okay, so uh, 2007 version, how do you identify? You can find office button. Office button instead of file tab. Okay, who? How many of you are using 2007? Could you please confirm? Anyone are using? See here, if you see here, I hope you are finding me file, you are finding your find button, right? File, instead of file tab you can find office. Okay, Sairam, you are using 2007. Okay, any other members who are using 2007? Any other members? Great. 2010 office button replaced with, okay, file tab. And also this is also file tab, don't confuse. 2010 version, you can find so much of green color tabs are there, and these all tab headings are like a buttons. Okay, so that is what you can easily identify whether it's 2010 or 2013. Okay, so that is what 2010. 2013 and 2016 little difficult to identify, but I'll give you a method. You go to the data tab. If you have get and transform data, okay, are you finding this get and transform data? That means yours is 2016 version. Get and transform data from 2016 under data tab. Okay, get and transform data, this grouping is there in 2016 version. 2013, if you want to know, are you finding here flash fill? Okay, in data tab, data tools group, you can find flash fill. This is from 2013 version. Flash fill under data tools group of data tab. That means 2013 and above. This is 2016 and above. 2019, if you want to know whether it is there or not, you can go to the data tab. You can find the data types, right? So data types group under data tab. If you have the stocks and geography, means you are using 2019 version. Okay. Office 365, you can easily find out. You can go to the file tab, account, you can find the Office 365. And these all also you can go to file tab and account. You can just go here, file tab and account. You'll get to know here. Mine is Microsoft Office 365, right? So one more thing for Office 365, whether yours is Office 365 or not, that is one way, and the latest features are always up to date. Okay, dynamic arrays is part of your Office 365. And how to know whether insider is part of it or not. Okay, they introduced the concept of XLOOKUP. Do you know VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP is having so many limitations. They introduced with a very powerful functions names XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is part of insider as of now. Probably soon they'll be releasing for entire world. Okay, this is about how to know different versions. Let me start looking into the user interface. I'm talking about tabs, groups, and so on. User interface, always we need to call it as this is a user interface, UI. Let me concentrate in that ribbon menu. Ribbon menu is something exactly this is part. If you see from this entirely is the ribbon menu. Sorry, I'm not very great in drawing. Okay, this is a ribbon menu. Okay, and in that, are you finding file? Sorry, home, file, insert, draw, page layout. Those we call it as tabs. Okay, let me put a little indent towards right side. Each tab is having so many groups. You can find the groups under the home tab. Clipboard group, font group, alignment group, number group, styles, cells, editing ideas. Okay. Under each group, you'll find so many commands. These all we call it as a commands. Okay. So I can click this, okay, to have a top alignment. I can click this to have a central alignment. Probably I can click this to merge the cells. So those we call it as commands. So if you would like to tell to anyone, okay, generally people don't follow it, they tell in a different way. But if you want to tell in a professional way, let's say if I want to access something in the view, maybe grid lines, checkbox, then what I need to do, I should tell in such a way, go to the ribbon menu, go to the view tab, in that go to show group, check the box grid lines. Okay, commands can be check boxes, that can be drop down, that can be toggle. Toggle means in Excel, not only in Excel, everywhere, toggle keys means on and off, same command. Toggle shortcuts, we have a couple of shortcuts. This is basically toggle commands we'll call. So toggle, yeah, this is toggle shortcuts. And this is also the same. On and off, same shortcut. Can you tell me one toggle shortcut we have in Excel? Anyone? Anyone? Can you tell me any one toggle shortcut? If you find there is a shortcut names control plus tilde symbol, CTRL plus tilde. This we call it as a tilde, right? So control tilde, sorry, yeah, this symbol is to enable formula enable mode, and the same shortcut is for formula disable mode. What is the meaning of formula enable mode and disable mode? For example, I have written the formula here equal to 10 plus 10. I have written the formula here this plus 150. Always when you write the formula, answer will be displayed in the cell and the formula will be displayed in the formula bar. That is what generally the formula. But if you use the shortcut control plus tilde is basically you can find below escape this symbol. Once you click this, are you finding all formulas got displayed in the cell itself? Then the same shortcut you click it, okay, that will be in the disable mode. So this is a toggle key, toggle shortcut. If you ask me the command for the toggle command, sorry, if you ask me the command for toggle, probably I can show you. You can go to the view tab in that macros group, in that macro drop down. Are you finding use relative references? This is a toggle. As of now, this has not enabled. Now let me click this. That means it got enabled. Are you finding it? The gray border appeared for this icon. If I click this, now it got disabled. So just one example, use relative references in macros under macro drop down. In macros group from view tab. Okay, this is one example as a toggle, and even you can find one more example. If you go to maybe the formats, okay, every cell in Excel is by default a locked cell. Okay, whenever there and then the important point comes, let me write very elaborately. These all are important notes for the session. So many notes, in fact, are covered. Generally, if I ask the question whether every cell is a locked cell or unlocked cell, most of the people say that it is okay, unlocked. But no, every cell in Excel is by default locked cell. I'll cover in the topic of protection very in depth. What is the difference between locked cell, unlocked cell, hidden cell, protected cell? Lot of concepts are there. But just for the understanding sake, because the point came here, I'm trying to tell this. How do you know that whether friends, don't worry, I kept myself mute for 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, friends, sorry. Yeah. Uh, every cell is a locked cell. For that, the proof is you can go to format. Are you finding this is having okay a cover? If you observe this, a lock is having a border, gray color border. This is a lock. If you click it, that's unlock. If you see, it got disappeared. If you click it, that's a lock. So that is the example for toggle. So it is under lock. I'm sorry. Let me see that whether it's a locked or locked cell. Yeah, lock cell. So lock cell uh, under format tab, format drop down in editing group from home tab. This one example. And for this concept, let me give a title so that once you go back and read it, you can understand very clearly. This is this is another example. For this is for shortcuts, okay? Format enable mode and the same shortcut for format disable mode. Or else let me write in this way. Okay. So that is what it is. There's a toggle case. I write very elaborately so that I'm going to send this file. You can read it later. I think you're clear. Okay. In fact, this is a way the commands. And friends, as you know, though most of you already started working with Excel, just because it's an introductory session, let me cover a couple of small things like this. This we call it as a name box. The meaning of the name box is it will tell us a name, the very important word, name box. Name box is very important. You will get to know why it is more important. Do you know in Excel there is a name manager? Okay. Excel having okay error names name. You'll get to know. I'll correlate everything. Uh, why the name is more important? Let me write everything which is relates with name. Cell name we have, range name we have, defined name we have, name manager. These all are the words you can find in Excel. We have name error. Okay, that means it's not very small thing to understand. A lot of things are part of this. Cell name is basically combination of column letter and row number. Let me elaborate more here. Okay, we have two types of cell name. One is A1 style, very important concept, please concentrate. The other one is R1C1 style. Sorry. Okay. By default, Excel has A1 style. Okay. Let me remove this. This is we can enable. Okay. How to enable R1C1 style? You can go to the file tab. You can go to options. You can go to formulas. Are you finding here R1C1 reference style? Let us try to understand by looking into this screen tip. Change the way Excel formulas refer to cells. Instead of using letters for columns and numbers for rows, this option enables using numbers for both rows and columns. Cells are then referred to in this format R1C1 style. So uh, this is default style. Let me put the default. Okay. Uh, columns indicated with letters and rows with numbers. Here, columns and rows both with numbers. Generally, first cell is the one which we refer. A1, column letter and row number. Now what I do, if I go here, if I go to account, sorry, if I go to options, if I go to formula section, this is all we call it as sections. And let me enable this. Let us see what will happen. Are you finding here? Even columns are indicated with numbers. Many a times when you are trying to get the file from your friend, or maybe when you are using Excel at the client location, don't surprise. Sometimes when this is numbers, okay. The advantage is anyway we'll get the number. You can go to the last. There are 16,384 columns are there. That is a advantage we can find. Let me every day let me have a shortcuts thing so that we can update here instead of reading ourselves. Control plus right arrow will take you to the extreme right side. Last cell in the range are in Excel, in the sheet. The meaning of this is, if I keep my cursor here, let me go here, and yeah, if I keep my cursor here, and if I use control right arrow, it will take me only here, right? But if I keep my cursor here, if I do control right arrow, it will take to the last. Okay, so in the same way, control, friends, this is the master shortcuts file. I'll be updating with the shortcuts every time. Okay. Uh, this is master shortcuts. As I said, shortcuts than by hearting. Let's practice it. So control plus down arrow. Sorry, this is not allow. This is arrow. Last cell in the range. Downside. Same thing for right and left. Oh, sorry, right arrow towards the right side. I'm sorry. Okay, it is left arrow towards the left side. Downside, then upside. Okay, so just for the example, my cursor is here now. If I use control right arrow, it will take here. Again, control right arrow, it will take to the extreme right side, last cell. Okay, now go back. If I do control down arrow, it will take you here. Control further down arrow, it will take you to the last row. Then control, I'm here, control left arrow, it will take to this cell. And further control left, it will take you to the left side, first one. Now let's say I'm here, control up arrow will take you to the first cell, right? If I'm last, control up arrow will take me here, right? And so on. So this is what all 4 shortcuts. Now from now, we'll see how many shortcuts will come throughout our session, and we'll note down so that I can share you this as a master data. Now let's go here. We in fact disconnected somewhere here. Okay. So I'm sorry, not here. Yeah, columns indicated with letters, rows indicated with numbers, R1C1 style, columns and rows both with numbers. Now let us look into that. What is an advantage or disadvantage of A1 style and R1C1? See, Lotus 123 before Excel, the spreadsheet used to be very famous spreadsheet. If you ask any of your senior members who used Excel in 1990s, early 1990s, they might have used Lotus 123. Lotus 123 used to have a concept of R1C1 style, just to make it comfort for the people who migrated from Lotus 123 to Microsoft Excel. For those people, they are still carrying R1C1. And in the macros, when you record the macro, they use R1C1 style. Okay, at many places we'll find, but for us, when we start writing the formula, R1C1 is not required. Now what I'll do, just for the example of R1C1 style, sorry, formula, okay, in A1 and R1C1 style, how you will get to know what is the difference between the formula. For example, let's say 1020 I have written, and here also 102030 is there. Now what is the style of my cell references? R1C1. If I use a sum function, it looks like this. Okay, looking very odd, and for the first time you're seeing, don't scare it up. Okay, the function looks like this. And if it is A1 style of cell reference, if I go to file tab and go to options, okay, before going into that, okay, let me go it and show you even that scenario. Go to formulas, R1C1, let me click here. Okay, now this simply turned into this. Just check it out. Let us take the same example. In the case of now, in 2013 onwards, there is a formula text. Don't try whoever using less than 2013 version. Okay, if I select this reference, I'll get the formula, what it has displayed. Now what I'm trying to do, I'll do copy paste special value. I did little faster, but don't worry, you can understand later. The sum, if I want to do this is what? R1C1 style, sorry, A1 style. And the same sum now convert into where you need to go, formula section, then check this box. Now let me put equal to formula text, enter, copy paste special values. Why I'm doing copy paste special values? So that formula will be disappear and value will remain. This is what? R1C1 style. Okay, looking very odd, but okay, this is the way it happens, how it happens, how it calculates in the same row. Okay, go 3 rows down, okay, from where same column, and till 1 row up, because I'm writing the formula from here. Wherever you are writing the formula, from that point, this is the point from which I'm writing the formula. From this point, 1 2 3 3 rows up, 1 2 3 in the same column. So that's the reason R minus 3, same column, so C. And from here now till which point? Here, this is 1 row backside, so R minus 1 in the same column C. If I want 2 columns, then you can easily guess it is R minus 3 C2, right? Then C1, then till here it is R minus 1, okay, C1. That is the way it happens. But anyway, this is more confusing, so day to day we work on this type of formulas. So I hope you are clear, right? These all are very important, because whenever we start working suddenly with a macro code, you must understand why it is and so on. Now let me remove this. Yeah. Okay, that is what, in fact, where we disconnected, we started talking about cell name, right? So this is what about the cell name. So whenever I want to know what cell name, what cell it is, you can say this cell is having C13. And one more important point you must understand, every cell name is unique. It's not like our society where two people can have the same name. You can find there are a lot of people who are having the name Saran, who are having the name Srinivas, and a lot of people, right? But in Excel, every cell name is unique. You'll get to know what is the meaning of it later. Very important thing for the formulas to understand, right? So that is what about the cell. What about the range? Range can be even a single cell or combination of cells, right? In continuation, combination can be even, right? A1 comma A3 is a combination, right? But you cannot call it as a range. Combination, okay, as a range, combination of cells. Anyway, you got to know. So how can a single cell can be a range? I'm sure that is what many people's question. Okay, it's very simple. Ranges can be like this. uh, A1 column A10 is a range. Range, what is this? What is the meaning of it? In the A column, from first row till 10th row. Rather, I can call this as from A1 through A10th cell. Okay, so that's what the meaning of A1 to A10. What is the meaning of A1 to Z10? Same thing. From A column to Z column, from first row till 10th row. Okay, from, or else from A1 cell through a Z10 cell. Okay, this is again one of the range. A column A is a range, you know that? The entire A column. The entire A column. Or else all rows in A column. Anything is fine, right? One column one. This is also a reference. Oh, it's automatically converting into a time format. When I talk about dates and time, you'll get to know. This is also a range. The entire first row means all columns in first row. Okay. A column Z means all rows. Okay. Can you please select show and another sheet A1 to Z10? See, A1 to Z10. Okay, there's a question from the participant. See, this is what the area. Okay, let me just zoom less so that you can see till Z. This is A1 to Z10. Okay. Are you okay? Is it the same question? Yeah, fine. Okay, Satya asked the question. Okay, so there are different types of ranges. That's what my meaning, right? So I'm explaining all those here. This is from A column till Z column, all rows, obviously. One column 10 minutes, all columns, rather different language, all columns in, all columns from first row till 10th row. This, let me put the same language, all rows from A column till Z column. Okay, so this is also a range. Even this is also a range, you know, A1 colon A1. Range having single cell. This is also a valid range, just to prove this is correct. I can do what, I can just go to A1 cell in this sheet. I can write something like maybe, okay. Satya, I'm just removing the color for this. So I can write maybe 10 equal to, okay, this can be written in different ways. Equal to A1 is 10 equal to sum of A1 colon A1. Excel understands this as a only single cell, no problem. You'll get to know why we use this one, okay, in the later sessions. This can be used to calculate, ideally, yeah, I'll come to your question. A1 colon A1, this style of cell reference, this can be used to calculate cumulative values, cumulative sum or count, etc. You'll get to know later. Yeah, there is a question again from the participant. A colon Z, ideally it should applicable for columns, right? Yes, it is. A column Z means, now let me select it again so that you can understand. See, this entirely is my area. A column Z means all the rows, because I did not mention any row, that means all rows. Is this clear, Satya? Great. If it is one column one means one row, one column one means entire row. One column 10 means all 10 rows. Because many a times while we write the formula, especially the VLOOKUP formula, we are very lazy in writing and selecting only the range. We'll select the entire column, because if something added below that, that will be automatically part of my range. But there are advantages and disadvantages taking this as the consideration. And friends, this is a little peculiar. You may be surprising, what is the meaning of A1 colon A1? Anyway, one cell, you can directly put A1, right? You'll get to know the importance of this when I start talking about cumulative sum, count, when we start taking the instance number, which time it is appearing, and so on. That time we can use this type of thing. This all we call it as a range. Till here, if anyone having any question, please let me know. Till here. Anyone having any question? Am I clear? Friends, can you please confirm whoever online? Great. Yeah. Friends, yeah. Thank you, Sairam. Friends, since today is the first session, 2 to 3 members requested me to close a little early because they want to look into that, and they based on that they'll plan from tomorrow. So I'm closing the session now. Okay. Now is time is almost 8 o'clock. 4 minutes less. From tomorrow, though it's a 2 hour session, at around 7:20 or 25, we'll take some 5 minutes break. Okay. So that whoever would like to move out of your desk or maybe thing, you can go out and 5 minutes and you can come back. Since today, anyway, I'm taking 1.5 hours, so I've just taken at a stretch. So I'll share this file. Don't worry. I'll uh, tag the names. Today, let me share this file as a raw so that you can, in the meanwhile, you can just have a glance. Now I'll share this, and this is a cumulative shortcut also I'll share every day. Just give me 1 minute. You can download right now. Just give me 1 minute, everyone. Please don't leave the session.